Okay.
All right, well, it is 5:32 and I'll call this meeting of the Personnel Committee to order. First item on the agenda was the meeting properly posted.
Yes.
Okay, great. We'll move right to discussion items, of which I believe there are 2 items. So item letter A is this 2023-2024 certified staffing and hiring update.
I need a motion to open the meeting.
Oh, okay, well, we'll move back then.
I'll motion.
All right, super.
Second.
All right, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so was the meeting properly posted?
Yes.
Super. All right, moving on to item 2, discussion items. We have 2 items for discussion. The first one is the 2023-2024 certified staffing and hiring update. And I will turn that over to Ms. Leah Scofter, Director of Human Resources.
Yes. So this will just kind of be bringing to every meeting through the summer. And on the far left, you'll see the employee who actually left, and then we actually have a few new FTE for the year where you see the NAs there. The term type, vacancy reason, almost all of these are just retirements and year-end resignations that we expect to get. Then the various positions, the locations, the total FTE. And then, the good news is that in that second to last column from the right, when you see a name, that's the new person who's joining us. So we're very excited that we've actually made a lot of progress. Unfortunately, this is the time of year where, they are kind of coming in a little bit more regularly. Teachers have until June 15th to sign their contracts. I think we still have just under 15 still outstanding, but it's pretty traditional for people to just take their time. But we have, close to 300 in, so that's nice.
That's great.
And so, yeah, we have a lot of new folks joining us. We're really excited about that. Everything else is posted or just about to be posted because it's so new. And we do have the, I call them hiring managers. The principals, the supervisors, whomever it is, kind of review the job description just to make sure that it's, what it needs to be. And then we run the job posting by them and then post it. So it usually goes pretty fast. This year, we are turning a little up. We have 31 just traditional teacher resignations compared to 24 total last year.
Say that one more time.
So we have 31 right now.
Okay.
What I'm calling just a regular
Yep.
teacher, not the speech path or the
Yep.
coordinators. So we have 31
And it was
teachers.
24 last year.
Last year was 24, so we're trending up a little.
Okay.
Not horribly though, because like I said, we're actually doing pretty well finding folks, so we're excited about that. And this is the time of year that this naturally happens, so. Now when I bring it in August, that's when we're gonna be a little more, concerned and maybe looking at it a little more strictly. But right now, I think even though we're a smidge up from last year, this is completely expected and normal. And I feel like we're filling them at a rate that we should feel comfortable with, so.
And have you gotten a sense this year, last year I know we had some folks leave, because they took coaching jobs, so it's natural, you go from being a math teacher for 15 years, then you become a coach, or, we had a couple people leave for the private sector. Are we seeing people leave for other districts or any sort of trends?
Right now, this year seems to be more just other districts.
Okay.
I know I had 2 teachers say they were leaving the profession
Okay.
on their things. I'll bring, in July, we have them fill out a resignation form that has them fill some check boxes
Oh, great.
and then answer 2 questions.
So when they say they're leaving for other districts, is it because of pay, because of?
So it's a combo, pay. A lot of people are also making the decision because it's closer to home. So, something popped up you know, like one person lives in Franklin, is going to Franklin, something popped up there.
Yeah.
So not only do they get a little more money, but that's a significant drive.
Sure.
Yeah, this is just, you know, people are wheeling and dealing for themselves, and for whatever reason, they were ready for a change. Few people gave some constructive criticism. I can bring that in one big general report. Usually I like to wait until July when, like, after June 15th passes, because then I have a better
Yeah.
sense for, like, this is probably a good chunk of them. They get fewer and further between after that, but yeah, less special ed this year, but oddly enough, we've been filling them. So at first I was a little worried. I think it's because like 4 came in at the same day, and then you're like, oh, but like most of them are already filled. So I think it was just the timing of how they all sent them on the same day. You're like, oh, what just happened? If they came in on 4 separate days, I probably wouldn't have felt the same concern, but little by little, I think we're doing well. So this is the start of hiring season.
Alright, good update.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, well then we can move on to the second item for discussion, which is the employee handbook revisions. Turn it back to Leah again.
Yeah, so I don't know if anybody had any like big questions. I did, I really didn't change a whole lot. Should have put some more tabs in here for myself. I did update, let's see, the flex time, which I still kind of had like up in the air. Last time. Page 26.
Page 26.
Page 26.
Is a new one from the last.
Yeah, so before I have a comment, like I made a comment, like I'm thinking about doing something. So this time, I'm not sure how eloquent it is, but it's kind of the last paragraph of the personal leave and flex time. Hourly or non-exempt employees may use flex time to alter their workday or work hours with prior approval by their supervisor. Flex time must be used within the same period in which the employee altered those. Flex time cannot be carried over into another pay period, and then some of that's the same. I took out, I don't know, I was thinking about getting rid of the whole thing, but usually we prefer not be connected to a district holiday. But I kind of thought it could be connected to a vacation because that you're actually getting like prior approval for. And I guess if you really wanted to like flex your hours to have off on that Friday and your boss didn't care, then I kind of felt like it's kind of just as if you took a vacation day that day. So I kind of left that back in. But you always need the approval of your supervisor. And if you want to do it to extend a holiday or a school recess period, you would need the approval of your supervisor and human resources. That actually happens now for personal leave as well. So if you want to do it, if you want to take it because you just absolutely have to for whatever reason, and it's connected to break or a holiday or something, HR has to give the final approval so we can kind of keep track. It's supposed to be for like these emergency situations or once in a lifetime opportunities that people have like 6 of, but once in a lifetime opportunities and or true emergency. So, you know, if you want to use it during the times when we said we don't normally just allow it, it has to come through our review.
Now I see the last sentence under that, personal leave and flex time, last paragraph, personal leave and flex time must be taken in 1/2. You're doing 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's why that's like completely struck through, cause in the earlier section, we went to that 0.15 to 15-minute increments.
Okay, so that's mentioned in here?
Yeah, that is,
I just wanna make sure that it is pointed out that they can use it in 15-minute increments.
yeah, that is. So yeah, that's what we're kind of looking at.
I remember talking about it last time, so.
right at the top of one. I did put it in. I was pretty sure it was the opening section of pay and compensation.
Otherwise, you may wanna just,
I can't
Add it
just
back.
add it everywhere.
well, I'd say just add it back in that section where you took out the half a day.
Yeah.
Just maybe put it there. That way it's close to it, cause if we're not finding it right now,
I
it'd be hard
know.
for them.
People are definitely gonna remember that.
So flex time, so it's like, I'm gonna leave 2 hours early on Monday, but I'm gonna stay 2 hours later, or I'm gonna stay an hour later the next day and an hour later the next day, so you've just made it up, but like, how does that work? Like for, I mean, I don't, like for a teacher who's got a class, I mean, if you stay and work until
Yeah,
7
that's why
p.m.
it's for hourly folks.
Okay,
So like,
it is
that's why it's for non-exempt hourly folks.
Got it.
Because we just can't have that flexibility,
For teachers.
yeah. So
Got it. So
it's kind of for those folks who are hourly, wanna flex their time, they like, and then they're not getting overtime. And their boss doesn't mind. So that's what I feel like it's best used for. It really doesn't work as well for teachers, principals, but it can work for, I mean, I
Janitors,
could work for custodial, it could work for some of the admins maybe.
EAs.
EAs are hourly, they could if their boss let them, that's a little more dependent on what it is, but
So flex is still based upon boss approval,
Mhm.
supervisor approval, okay.
Yeah, the more interaction you have with kids, the less likely it is to happen.
Sure.
But, I mean, if someone, let's say didn't have sick leave and just really needed to go to the doctor, you could decide that the EA could, flex something out, where maybe they were already just a 5-hour EA, so you could have them work an extra hour with kids on a Thursday so they could leave for that doctor appointment if you want to, but to me, flex time should be, I don't wanna say rare, but not a lot. It shouldn't be a lot, and it should be, because it still allows the work that actually needs to get done.
Right.
And so that's why, like, the closer you are to kids, the less easy it is to offer.
Yeah.
And these employees are still like punching a clock, so to say, right?
Yep.
So they have to enter their hours.
Yeah, so they actually use, the True Time machine,
Mm-hmm.
and so they are punching in and out
Yeah.
on that. And so it'll show that they stayed an hour later on Wednesday and they worked an hour or less
Sure.
in the system, but their boss is approving it. So I will add that back in at the bottom. Oh, no, I just closed it, it's,
Do we have anything for teachers, for, let's say, for like those medical, like, hey, I have to get to a doctor's appointment, I don't need a half a day.
yeah, so usually they'll find coverage among each other.
Okay.
So they just need a very short amount of time.
Right.
They'll find a teacher who has prep to just cover them.
Okay.
Or they'll do it over their prep.
Okay.
Um,
And just because they're salaried, it doesn't matter for them then.
I mean, really in the public sector, we're not normally that loosey-goosey with our time, but yes, they are salaried and it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Teachers are actually, with the FLSA, they're this odd quasi, exempt, non-exempt group. So while they're technically salaried, I think you also know that, like, even though I'm paying you for 8 hours, you still get paid to cover over your prep.
Okay, yep.
And you'll get paid to cover lunch if you,
If we cover
You know,
that,
so-
sure.
they're like both. They're this weird combination of both.
Okay. Good.
It's in there. It's long to read, but it's in there and they're just this weird quasi-exempt, non-exempt group. But yes, they'll find people to cover.
Okay,
Good. So they do have some flexibility there to get short things squeezed in.
Sure.
So page 25, not far from where we work, has the 15-minute increments in it.
oh, there it
Very
is,
top.
yep.
For some reason, I think I thought there'd be more red, when I was looking for it. There's there's not as much red. And then, I think the only other like bigger thing that I did was, in the teacher appendix on page 49, I had missed literacy coordinators, so they got added to the top. And then, when someone read it, for the evaluation section, it kind of sounded like maybe only the district administrator would be doing walkthroughs, so just to make sure I put and school administrators, I mean, that's really who observes you, but I guess the way I wrote it led to possibly some confusion, and I think that's all I did since the last time.
Okay.
So I don't know if anybody had any.
I noticed on page 40, you need a tab over on Thanksgiving Day for your holidays. Just to line it up.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a change, it's just a editing, formatting.
Yes.
And then the only other question I had was, does this handbook apply to our coaches? If they are not teachers, cause obviously if they're teachers, that it's gonna automatically like apply.
I'm trying to think like a football coach,
Yeah,
that's
I
not a
mean,
district employee already.
yeah, yeah.
No, I don't think they actually get it, but I would say a lot of this stuff probably doesn't apply to them, just because they're not a traditional employee. They are given and held responsible for all the district policies and procedures. So I do think all of the big important stuff gets covered through that. And then Brian also has a coach's manual that lays out a lot of their time, their pay, their rules for that, and then he incorporates the district policies and procedures in there.
Yeah.
So I would say no, they're probably not getting this. It probably does not specifically apply to them because good chunks of this are for more traditional regular employees. But Brian has fully supplemented with a manual.
Okay.
And non-teaching coaches get a stipend, not a salary, correct?
They get a stipend.
I think that maybe it would be good for us to see the manual,
Okay.
just cause I'm thinking of some of the challenges we've had over the last year and a half specifically with coaches.
Oh, really?
Well, not, just stuff comes up, but they still represent the district. So
Yes.
if they say stuff publicly,
It's probably a good idea.
I just would be interested to know what's in there.
Yeah, I think he has some stuff, but he does not have all of this, and no, they don't
Right,
get it.
cause I agree, like half of this wouldn't be applicable, but it would be good to know what they're told.
Oh, sure, yep, I can get it for the next meeting.
Cool.
And the only thing I have, I would say I would add that on the page 26, that last paragraph, the personal time flexing must be taken in half. I would actually put that in 15 minutes,
Yep, I'll put it back in
yeah.
with the right
Just,
time.
just to have it by that area of flex time, so people are aware of that. I think that's a nice benefit.
It was gonna be a short meeting.
Okay.
No other,
Any other discussion pertinent to the handbook?
No.
Alright,
I mean, yeah, we did it for the first time back in 2021. It's significantly different than it used to look. Maybe that took forever, that's why in my brain I'm like, wow, this was easy.
Well, plus it was it was publicly posted for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Cause we weren't sure if a bunch of employees were gonna weigh in or not.
Yeah, so I would say these are actually, I really don't think they're that huge. I think a lot of the stuff is kind of things we've been talking about for a little while, things we we're kind of already doing anyway. And just some other things that keep coming up and we don't have anything to point to, but we have this practice, and I hate saying that because we should have something to point to because I don't know who knows practices. So if it's the first time you're dealing with something, you don't know the history of what the district's done, so I don't think there's anything too significant in here, and then, we always have the ability to bring it to the board again if something just really isn't working. It's not like it just stays closed
It's fluid.
for a whole year. I mean, if something really isn't working or really needs to be added, we can choose to bring it back to the board at any time. So. This is one where I would ask that we could take it to the full board, at the next meeting on, I think it's June 26th, for discussion.
26. I don't have a problem with that, I don't think there's anything else that I wanna work, that there's anything to work on, or, I mean, I'm happy with the changes that were made, so,
I think I agree.
okay.
And I didn't hear anything from like the finance staff that came to the other first meeting, so I haven't heard anything. Great.
All right, well, then,
I do think maybe since we have time, maybe we wanna try to figure out our schedule a little bit for the next few months. Get dates.
sure, is that part of this meeting, or should we adjourn this meeting?
Yeah.
I think we can adjourn.
We can
this
adjourn and
meeting.
talk about it,
Yeah, and then we
yeah.
can talk about it, we can adjourn,
Adjourns and
okay.
stuff on the agenda.
Alright, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Alright,
Seconded.
alright, all in favor say aye.
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 At 5:52.
We are adjourned.
Okay.